Broadcasting to York online and on 94.8 FM.
This is Jorvik Radio. You're listening to Blues from the Ouse with Paul Winn and Ben Darwin on Jorvik Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Blues from the Ouse here on Jorvik Radio with myself and Ben Darwin. Good evening. We've got your weekly review.
We have the self-titled album by Eel Pie this evening.
So I need to know, Eel Pie, is it good? Oh, tell us.
I'm not telling you now, am I? I've written all of this out. I'm not going to tell you what it's like now.
So Ben,
Paul,
what have you been listening to this week, mate?
This week I have been listening to a band called Eel Pie with their self-titled album Eel Pie.
Are they Cockneys?
No, in fact they're not. Well, they might be, I don't know, possibly. During your opening link last week, you described this band as two Brits and a Yank. I would prefer to say two British gentlemen and a friend from across the water.
Well, that's very true, but that's how they describe themselves.
Well, alright, fine, that's what I'm...
In fact, one of them, Andy, who's been messaging me, is from Hull.
Hull?
Or as we call it, Hull.
Hull, yes, well... Strange goings on. That hotbed of blues music, Hull.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I do, however, agree with your statement about an album that grabs you by the kahunas. It certainly does this. I would also say that it clatters you around the head with a lump of musical too before. And then when you come round, you discovered you've woken up in the late 60s or early 70s London. Everyone's walking around in frilly lilac shirts or military jackets wearing lots of beads, and there's some kind of weird coloured fog going on. You know, you get the idea. You see where I'm coming from with that. Essentially, this is a great hard-hitting blues album by a classic three-piece lineup that I would recommend to anyone who likes a bit of oomph to their music. There are some wonderfully dark-sounding tracks, such as the ethnic song, which sounds a little bit like they've been using utilising the tritone devil chord, which you kind of get with a lot of early Black Sabbath. They get this kind of really sinister feel to the intros and things like that. So on this song, the ethnic song, that goes into the chorus and the verse, but then the chorus moves into like this weird Indian tabla drums, which is totally unexpected with the track. But it really works. It's quite good, really. Now, I had a bit of an argument with myself as to which track I wanted to play. Now, my first thought was half 4. This opens with a fantastic Doors-esque rolling bass line that lulls you into a false sense of security that it's going to be a real laid-back affair until the guitars kick in. And then it lifts a couple of notches and then moves into a jam over this wonderful heartbeat of a bass line, taking the entire track to over 11 minutes long. I do love it, but it's a little bit long for the show. So next I thought about Take 3 again. Now, if you told me that this track was lifted off a soundtrack to any of the classic Vietnam films, I'd quite easily believed you, because it sounds exactly like that. You can get where I'm coming from with that. In those kind of scenes where they're all hanging around and they're all smoking loads of dubious substances and things like that in the films, it sounds as though it's been quite easily lifted from that. It's an instrumental track of absolute beauty where you can really feel all the band have just lost themselves in the music. Again, however, it's 10.5 minutes long, still a bit lengthy for the show. So we're going to play a track called 3 Rounds. Now, this is a punchy track with a riff that's been sat in my head for the past 3 days. The bass and guitars work in unison, providing the overall hook to the track. And then during the guitar solo, the bass line goes off-piste with fairly similar to a Noel Redding kind of way of playing. Which obviously as a bass player I think is fantastic. Now, I know I focused on the 60s and 70s feel to the album, but it certainly stands up as a contemporary album as well. It clearly isn't just regurgitated versions of those great songs that we all know and love. There's a development of them, and you can quite easily see these guys making appearances on the larger stages on the festival circuits, if obviously the festivals ever get going again, which is another thing entirely. Other tracks to look out for on the album are the almost punk-like Battery Liquor and the opening track Last Leaving Blues, which is a bit like the Stones' Not Fade Away but on steroids, a bit bigger, a bit bolder and a bit beefier. And that is what I would say the album's a little bit like. It's big, it's bold, it's beefy blues played brilliantly well. So top marks, gentlemen. I really like this album.
It is. It's seriously good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another one of those that just kind of, like you say, it hits you, but you can get so lost in it as well.
And the guitar is turned up to 11. for sure.
At least 11.
At least
11. I think they might even have an 11 and a half on some of these. You know.
So, anyway, so we're going to play a track from Eel Pie, and it's 3 rounds. Check them out. Find them on Facebook. Their cover image is like 2 eels.
2 eels on a guitar.
I think not in a pie. So anyway, Eel Pie. Enjoy.